So there is a very high chance, a very high likelihood that right now I have no subscriptions. All of my subscriptions have been canceled. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a lovely, wonderful, fantastic day. So it has been a few days since I've filmed and I always get like so nervous. If I haven't filmed for like a week, I'm terrified. I don't know what that is. I feel like I'm doing it all over again for the very first time anytime I've like taken even a few days off of filming. So before I started doing any unboxings or anything, I thought I would just do an update with you guys, just sit here, chit chat, put on some makeup and ease my way back into filming. You know, the thing I've been doing for like 7 years. I have a few things that I want to talk with you guys about today. I wrote them down in a list, you know, because I couldn't remember the 4 things that are on this list. Wow. Is this enough to even make a video about? You want on the couch, little boy? You want on the couch with your brother? Really, do you not want your brother on the couch with you? Tater's little legs have a difficult time working. Not only does he have something called a luxating patella, so like the little like bone, his little knee bone kind of like pops in and out of its socket, but he's also on a lot of different medications for his epilepsy. He takes 3 different medications like 7 times a day. So it's a lot and it causes something called ataxia, which is like weakness of like the leg muscles, the back leg muscles. So he has a really hard time like jumping up on the bed or the couch. So he'll kind of like get mad and boop it with his nose and wait for like me or my husband to come pick him up and put him on the bed or the couch. Or sometimes he'll get very angry and just start yelling at it, just like screaming, like nose booping and screaming. I want to get him some cute little like puppy stairs. I don't know if he'll use them because he is afraid of the stairs. So like maybe like a ramp, like a puppy ramp. But anyway, yeah, one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about was Tater. I do have a Tater update. Let me go ahead and just get all my makeup stuff out. This probably is not gonna be like an exhilarating makeup look or anything. I am tired. I don't know if you guys can see my red eyes. There's just red rings around my eyes like all times. So I'm just gonna probably do a simple makeup look today. You know, my 3 different foundations I have to mix together here because none of them match me. I'm gonna zoom you guys in just a little bit. That is out. So if you guys have seen like a lot of my other update videos, life update things, you guys know that Tater has epilepsy, which I mentioned at the beginning of this. We have been trying to figure out like what kind of medications are gonna help him and all sorts of different things. So he recently, unfortunately, did have another seizure. It was at the end of last month. We kind of noticed a trend that he just basically has one at the end of every month, which now like anytime we're going to approach like, you know, like the 20-something of a month, I'm just going to be nervous until, you know, forever. I'm a nervous person. I just know now that it's kind of like the trend that he has one like every month towards the end. I'm just very anxious during the end month times. It was only 26 days in between his seizure episodes, which is one of the shortest time frames in between the episodes. Longest has been 45 days, the shortest so far has been 26. However, I was optimistic because typically when he has an episode, he has like multiple in one day. He has cluster seizures, so there'll be, you know, several within a 24-hour time period, which is incredibly dangerous. So we're used to him having clusters anywhere between like 2 to 4 seizures pretty quickly back to back to each other. I think like the longest is a couple of hours and the shortest has been like 50 minutes in between seizures. But after this last seizure, like we just decided, me and my husband, like we're just gonna try the CBD oil that I bought. I had purchased some CBD oil for him a while back and I was too nervous to give it to him. I was afraid it was gonna interact with medicines or, you know, whatever. Like I was just kind of nervous to give it to him because any vet that you talk to, they won't tell you like, yeah, it's fine, go ahead and give it to him, you know, because it's not regulated, it's not veterinary like recommended, whatever. So they're not going to give you dosages or like how to give it, like anything like that. So I was nervous to give it to him. But after this last one, we just went ahead and like we gave him a whole syringe. And I don't know if it was like just a coincidence, but he didn't have any other seizures. So he didn't have a cluster seizure this time, which is to me an incredible improvement. You know, we were able to keep him home. He didn't have to go to the emergency vet and be put on seizure watch or anything. So all of that to me is like good. I'm so excited, but it could have just been anything. It could have just been a coincidence, but we did give him that full syringe of CBD oil and he didn't have another one. He didn't even like go into like a pre-ictal phase to where like he's drooling or like staring off like about to go into one. We've been able to bring him back from that phase before by like pushing on his nose, but he didn't even do that. And I don't want to get my hopes up and be like 100% it was the CBD that prevented him from having more seizures, but I mean, Maybe it was. Maybe that's something that we can implement anytime he does have a seizure. We've also been giving it to him daily now. So now he gets CBD twice a day, along with his 7 different times he gets medication. So he gets medicine at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., around 9 to 10 a.m. when he has breakfast, then at 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 7 p.m., 11 p.m., and 12 a.m. That is his current medication schedule. And I was worried about it being like too much on him, but honestly, he gets all of his medication with like a little chunk of food, and I think he enjoys it. I think he's perfectly fine with it. We do have to be careful though, because he can't get too much chunkier. He's already pretty chunky. He's bigger than Ren. He weighs more than Ren. Ren's like 10. Tater's a year and a half, and he weighs more than Ren does. But we have to keep his weight down because of his luxating patella. So recently, we also had a neurologist appointment for Tater. We drove up to Cincinnati, about like 2 hours from us. There's no dog neurologist around us. And I honestly think like the appointment went well and was pretty positive. Hold on, buddy, I'm coming. So we gave them like the entire lowdown on Tater and his seizures, you know, how often he has them, how many he has, like the severity of them, just the entire history of his seizures, which honestly there isn't that much history. There's only like 6 months, 7 months worth of history that we could give them because that's when they started. We gave him all the information that we had. He was taken back to do a neurological test. I honestly was a little bit worried. I told him, I was like, he walks like a fish, right? So I'm kind of worried there's something wrong with his spine because when he walks, it's literally like, he's got a lot of wiggle in his step, okay? So I'm just kind of concerned like he has like a spinal injury, like all these different things. The neurologist came in and she was talking to us, and she did say that like 6 months history isn't a ton really to go off of, but his neurological exam came back like good. I guess they're testing for reflexes and like, you know, eye reflexes, different things like that, just to make sure there wasn't anything like cognitively wrong with him, and that all came back good, so that's really positive. She also said basically she thinks it's one of 2 things. One, primary epilepsy. She said most likely it is epilepsy, primary epilepsy, and there's no real like, I don't even know if there's a real explanation for epilepsy, like what causes it. It's just a genetic thing. So it could just be primary epilepsy. The second thing it could be is inflammation. Apparently these type of breeds with like the flatter faces, even though Tater's face is like a little less flat than like Ren's even, they can have issues with inflammation, like I guess in the brain. So she thinks probably epilepsy, just primary epilepsy, but could potentially be inflammation. She didn't say a word, nothing about it being like a lesion or a tumor or anything on the brain, probably because he's too young. But to me, her not even like bringing that up was a positive thing, because that's honestly one of the things that I was most afraid of, is that he would have something on his brain. And they told us at the other vet that basically there wouldn't be anything we could really do about it. If there was, it would just, you know, we had to do palliative care with him, but she didn't even seem to think that that was like a possibility. Now she doesn't know like for sure, of course, because she hasn't seen his brain yet. She did also say that based on like the history we gave her, him having just one cluster of seizures each month is actually kind of controlled. They consider that kind of controlled, and that's kind of good, which I thought, you know, and I was told that they would like to see, you know, 2 to 3 months at least between seizures. So for her, oh my goodness. So for the neurologist to say that she thinks that his seizures are pretty well controlled made me really happy. That was actually, you know, pretty, again, positive. I hate the thought of him just having seizures once a month, but she seemed to think that was a pretty okay. And she also said that him having fewer than 5 seizures in one 24-hour time period wasn't terrible as far as cluster seizures go, and she wouldn't recommend it. What is happening? I've never tried this bronzer before. It's just the whole of bronzer, but my heavens. What was I saying? She wouldn't recommend us going to the emergency vet to be like put on an IV drip kind of thing if he has fewer than 5 seizures, which he's, knock on wood, he's never had more than 5 seizures. So all those times I went to the emergency vet, I mean, for me, I thought it was the right thing to do, especially if they were super close together or they were like really violent, but all those times probably could have been, or at least some of them could have been avoided, which I mean, that's also really good news, because I know that is stressful for him. I can hear him whining when we take him, and it's horrible every time we have to take him. I know that they're taking good care of him, and you know, he's fine. He's in a safe environment. He's in a very safe environment, but but it is very stressful for him. He has to get a catheter every time. He has to get an IV put in. They shave his little paw. And it's also like $1,000+, like between $1,000 $1,500 every time we take him. And doing that once a month is like, that's a lot. That's very difficult. I would do anything for either of my boys, but that is incredibly difficult. So for her to say, like, unless he's having 5 or more seizures, it's okay for him to stay at home, especially because we do have like things to put up his nose and stuff that will stop the seizures pretty much immediately, which is basically what happens like at the emergency vet. So it was reassuring to hear from the neurologist, like if he is only having a couple of seizures, that he can stay at home and we can just watch him and administer medicine if needed. And she also gave us like dosages of his medication to give like extra after, which is something we've never done before. So we have a lot more information now and a lot more ways that we can help him after a seizure if one does occur. She switched over his nose injectee stuff from midazolam to diazepam, I think. And the only thing I'm a little bit nervous about that is like, instead of it being like a pre-loaded syringe that we just like pop up the cap and put it in his nose, we actually have to like draw, like a nurse, like draw it out with a needle, take off the needle, nose, that kind of stuff. So that makes me a little bit nervous. That's definitely different. I have never done that before. So that's nerve-wracking, but it should work better, more immediately, and help him longer. So that's good. Now, she did say that it could be something that isn't primary epilepsy. It could be inflammation, and the only way that they're going to know if it's something else is if he does imaging, which we kind of went there just assuming we were going to be doing imaging. But you know, after all this information that we were given and stuff, and just her saying that she thinks it's just primary epilepsy, I'm a little bit nervous about the imaging. It just seems like a lot. It seems like a whole lot. So, you know, of course he'll be like hooked up to things. He has to be put under anesthesia. They would do a breathing tube. They would also like shave a little part of his head back here and like I think do like a spinal tap, like to take spinal fluid. Like it seems like a whole lot to put him through if it is something that is just primary epilepsy. So getting that kind of imaging isn't like super necessary right now. It's not like, you know, a dire situation to get this imaging because he has only been having seizures for like 6-ish months. She said it's not like an emergency to get it done right now immediately. So I'm just wondering if we have different medications, we have different protocols and stuff, just to see like how he does before we put him through all of that, because that seems like a lot. We went there like very like, okay, we're getting the images done. We want him full body, like scan everything. But after they just started explaining everything, I was like, oh, that seems really invasive, and like it would be very, very stressful for him. He's only a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, so he's just a baby. That just seems incredibly stressful. It was, however, not as expensive. I mean, it's incredibly expensive, don't get me wrong. It's incredibly expensive. I was thinking like $10,000. Once you start talking about like dog neurology and spinal taps and MRIs and all this kind of, I was like, oh, this is gonna be $10,000. I think they gave us a quote of like $3,000 to $4,000 with everything, blood work, all that kind of stuff, which, you know, is still an insane amount of money, but not as bad as I anticipated. So if that's something that we do feel like we want to do, we definitely will. I would just like to see how controlled we can get his seizures before we put it through all of that. But overall, I thought it was a very positive outcome overall, and I do feel a little bit better. I mean, of course I'm a nervous wreck all the time because that's just like what I do, but I do feel better a little bit about, you know, the outlook of everything. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated with any other Tater updates, but that's like the big one for now, so yay. Okay, so this is like a super quick kind of random update, but like if you guys are interested at all in like the house tea that I talked about in a couple of my last update videos, then I just have like a little kind of just super weird update. So if you don't know, my husband and I put in an offer on this house like a while ago, and then it turned out to be super sketchy. We got lied to about a whole bunch of things, like the square footage was off by 500. Like it was very sketchy, but we were able to back out of the agreement. I mean, we were going to buy the house. Like we signed the contracts, everything. We were able to back out of it. It went back onto the market for sale by owner, and on also a very sketchy way. But then eventually it was put back on like Zillow and stuff, listed by realtor, that kind of thing. So it gets relisted, and like I'm checking this thing every day. I'm checking it every day because I'm nosy as heck. So what they've done, like they relisted this house. They relisted it, and this time instead of saying it was 2,700 square feet, which is wrong, off by 500 square feet, they said it was 3,900 square feet. Where? Out of what? With a fully finished basement, which the basement was not finished. And in order to be considered like a fully finished basement, you have to have, yeah, I don't know, walls, ceilings, some type of flooring perhaps, maybe not like a hole in the floor, just water in it, dangling electrical. Like that's not a finished basement. There's no walkout, there's no doors, there's no windows. It's not a finished basement unless they went down there and like in the little bit of time in between us backing out and then relisting it and just slap some stuff up, which I kind of think they might have, because there's that one basement wall that was like kind of bowing in and cracking and we were going to pay $10,000 to fix. I'm kind of thinking that what if they did go down there and just slap up some drywall and stuff, you know, set it out, put up some drywall, some like laminate flooring, peel and stick tile or whatever, and call it like a finished basement. Those are interesting quotes, you know, so they could not only add on to the square footage but also cover up the fact that there's like a bowing in basement wall. But even like in the listing pictures, the basement looked exactly like it did when we were gonna buy it, which was not finished. Anywho, so the listing now says 3,900 square feet, which to be honest, even with a fully finished basement, the footprint of the house, there's no possible way there's 3,900 square feet, because each story is only 1,100 square feet, and there's technically, I guess, you know, 2 stories in a basement. So if you multiply 3 times 1,100, you don't get 3,900. Where they're getting all this extra square footage, I don't know if there's some type of like Narnia-esque closet or something that we just didn't open. That leads to an extra several hundred square feet. I don't know. Anyway, so they list it, and every single part of me wanted to go see this house again to see what they had done to the basement. My aunt even like volunteered. She was like, I'll go. They don't know who I am. I'll go. Which we just didn't do it in time before the house became contingent. So somebody put an offer in on the house. They were going to purchase it. And yet again, because I am nosy, I checked every single day to see if that thing had sold yet, to see how much it sold for. Well, wouldn't you know it, as I'm doing my daily check one day, I see that the house has been taken off the market. It doesn't say like, you know, sold, anything like that. No, the house had been removed, listing removed, meaning that whoever put in an offer on this house backed out, something fell through, whatever. And I was like, wouldn't you know it? So, you know, we talk about this often amongst the family. So I sent a screenshot of Zillow to my parents and my husband, and I was like, look what house is off the market yet again. So then like listing it for 3,900 and it going contingent and then falling through again, you know, that's a little bit of tea. But here's the real tea. My dad went to like the bank or something. I'm not gonna remember the story very well. He went somewhere where somebody who knows that we were going to purchase that house knew him and told him that somebody hit the house. So my dad, being just as nosy as I am, drove out to the house to see what was going on, and he said the left like back corner of the house, there's like a chunk of brick missing out of it, and the brick was bowing out on the back. I'm not gonna be able to get these eyebrows done with all these, you know, hand motions, but the way that this house is, so like there's a road here, the house is here, and there's like trees, there's like a flower bed, there's flower beds on either side, like a little porch on the house. So like you would have to be coming down the road somehow, go over like the little like bump thing, a little bit of a hill, miss the trees, go through the grass to hit the corner of this house. And he was like, I have no idea like how anybody would have done that. And they would have had to have been fine, because this is not like a street you're supposed to go fast on. So they would have had to have been like absolutely flooring it to be able to like make it all of that distance. It's a pretty far distance as well, like from the road, to hit the corner of that house and like knock a hole in the brick and like make the brick bow out from the back. I still haven't gone to see it. I would like to go see it. But like, what is happening? What is going on with this house? I don't know if it's cursed. Like I don't know. And even though I am like still kind of upset with the guy for lying to us blatantly multiple times about certain things, but I also am like starting to kind of feel bad. I'm like, man, you cannot offload this house from your hands, can ya? I do feel a little bit bad, but like maybe if you were like honest about the house and all the things to do with the house, then maybe it would have sold by now. Because it's a pretty house. I really like this house. I was gonna buy this house. But I didn't appreciate being lied to about like everything about it. A little house update. I mean, like something's wrong with this house. Like, okay, so speaking of houses, remember when we were gonna buy like the big house, the like 8,000 square foot, 4-acre giant house for the cheapest price in the entire world, which probably was a blessing that we didn't get it, because like money pit, right? And we don't have that much money to fix it, and it would have been incredibly stressful. Anyway, so we were gonna buy that house. We didn't get that house because the people who lived in front of that house ended up buying that house, but the only reason they were able to buy that house is because we put an offer in onto it, and then our friend dropped out his offer. It's all connected. There's a big long I did another update video explaining that entire thing. But across the street from the house that we looked at after losing the big house, which now belongs to the people that own this house, right across the street, also in front of the giant big dream house, a person was able to track us down through our business Facebook, our second and main Facebook. They sent a message saying like, hey, I'm trying to hunt down the people who put in the offer for the big house and then lost it. I'm trying to find those people. And I was like, oh, that's us people. Yes, that's me. That's me and my husband. Yes, hello. So apparently he is friends with the people that live in the house that is across from this house that is in front of the big house. And they are also his clients, and he is a realtor. And they are potentially thinking about selling. And this house is like a big, beautiful Victorian home. That's like our dream kind of home. We want a Victorian with like the woodwork and the charm and the character. That's what we're looking for. And the house itself, I think, is a beautiful house. I mean, of course, we've seen it several times because we've been shopping the entire neighborhood. So when he said that house was potentially for sale and asked if we would be interested in it, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, of course, yes, yes. So he said that he was gonna get in touch with his clients and we were gonna like, you know, come do a showing. It technically isn't on the market, but we were gonna get like a private showing of the house and be able to like look at it and that kind of stuff. And that was a while ago. And it still isn't, it hasn't happened just yet. We are trying to get in touch with him like, hey, you remember how we said that we were going to be able to look at it like, you know, May 21st or whatever, and it's currently like June 7th, which is fine. Like, this is a person's house. Like, you know, we don't have just free access to somebody's actual home. He did say that we could look at it like after May 21st, and then he contacted us like 2 weeks ago and was like, hey, yeah, my clients are coming up with a time for you guys to come see the house, and I'll let you know tonight like what that time is. And then that was 2 weeks ago, and then we didn't hear anything. And then I messaged him and was like, hey, I just wondering, you know, if this is still like a possibility, if we might be able to see the house. And he was like, oh yeah, you know, they're just kind of busy, but we'll get to you. And I'm like, okay. So again, not wanting to like pressure anybody into like letting me buy their home, but I would really like to see it. I think I would like to see it. But anyway, that's the house update. We are potentially gonna go see another beautiful Victorian home, and you know what? Maybe it'll work out, and then maybe it won't. And this is a great house. Maybe it's not meant to be, and maybe we're supposed to stay in this house, which is perfectly fine because this is a very nice house and a great area. I feel very lucky to have this house. So if it doesn't work out and we just are meant to stay here, that is perfectly fine. But I do love touring homes, and I would love to see this beautiful Victorian. Even if we don't buy it, even if we can't buy it, can I just like come look at your wood? Your pretty like thick moldings and your fireplaces and your big staircases and stuff. Can I just come look at it? Okay, and then my last update, which I was going to talk about first, but then I said Tater, and then I just started talking about Tater for like 30 minutes. So my last update is that I think there's a very good chance that every single one of my subscription boxes has been canceled. I think potentially they all have been canceled. Ipsy, Ice Cream Beauty, Look Fantastic, whatever other ones I get that I can't think of at the moment. Like every subscription box that I typically get, I think has been canceled because I activated a new debit credit card because I lost mine in Scotland. So I lost my debit card in Scotland on our anniversary. That was in November, right? When we get back, I just didn't have a debit card for like months. Everything just kind of like automatically came out, and I didn't cancel that card because I was like, it's gonna be a pain in the rear end. Redo all of my payments to be under a new card. I was like, there's just no way. It's gonna be awful. I did have my card on pause for a while just to see like if anybody was trying to use it, but like even the police in Scotland were like, people are too nice here, no one's gonna use it, it probably just got thrown away, which I think is exactly what happened. So after it was paused for like a month, I was like, I'm gonna unpause this thing. You know, I got payments that need to come out. Like I just unpaused it and everything was fine, and I just didn't get a new card. Eventually, I did finally put in a request to have a new card sent to me, and then it sat there for a while entirely unactivated. I don't really go a lot of places and I don't really need a card pretty much anywhere I go. When I finally activated my new debit card that had the same numbers, right? I was like, oh, it has the same numbers. It's all gonna be fine. I didn't realize, I guess, you know, just not thinking that I still have to update the expiration and the security code on the back of the card. Everything I have, healthcare, Netflix, like every single thing I have has to be updated. And for a person like me, that is a nightmare. It's been a nightmare. I get a new alert from my bank every day that a charge has been denied for something that I've set up. Some type of subscription, some type of service, things I probably need, like healthcare, every day, multiple of them. And it's overwhelming. It makes me so nervous. And I don't know the passwords for any of these things. I don't know, how you think I can get onto my Look Fantastic subscription? No. Absolutely not. I don't know the email, let alone the password. So I have every subscription that I have, every one that I have to go back in and manually update my card to be able to get my subscriptions. But this has afforded me with an opportunity. Because if I don't do that, if I don't go into some subscriptions and update security codes and things like that, then my subscription will be canceled. They will no longer charge me for the subscription. I will no longer be receiving the subscription. So all these ones that I'm kind of signed up for that I totally forgot about, it could be like a unique opportunity to not have those anymore and only sign up for the ones that I really, really want. But then that like brings me to which ones do I actually really, really want? Because like, you know, I have my 3 Ipsies. Do I still want to have 3 Ipsies? I don't know. Right now I get to choose, I guess. I mean, the choice was always mine. I could have gone in at any time and canceled all of them. But I don't. I forget and I don't do it. But now, like, that choice has been made for me because it's actually been a while and I haven't really fixed almost any of them. So, so there is a very high chance, a very high likelihood that right now I have no subscriptions. All of my subscriptions have been canceled. So now I guess I get to try to figure out which ones I actually want to go through, like the motions of getting back into my account, figuring out what the passwords are because I don't know any of them, and then resubscribing or just updating my information if they have not yet been canceled. And I have to see which ones I think are worth it. And I would love to know your all's opinions down below in the comments. I'm thinking P. Louise. I'm thinking I do really enjoy P. Louise. I think it's fun. It's a little bit different than a lot of my subscriptions. So I think I would like to stay subscribed to this. But like my Ipsies, do I really want like 3 Ipsies? But then again, like it's kind of fun. I do like opening them all up. I like trying to see if I can get different stuff. And I just have like this long-standing connection with Ipsy, so I hate to like fully get rid of them. I definitely don't think I would fully get rid of them. I would keep like maybe 1 or 2 and just send the other one to the chopping block. Then like I also have like my FabFitFun because even though I do sponsorships with FabFitFun, I still have my own subscription. Fun. Oh, I have Wantable and Stitch Fix, Glossy Box, Look Fantastic, Ice Cream Beauty. What else? I know there's more than that. There used to be like even more than that. I actually don't know what happened to them. I used to have even more subscriptions than I currently do, but I don't know, you know, where they went. Remember Sephora Play? Wow. Oh, American Influencer Beauty Award. Like I just have a lot of subscriptions and I don't know which ones I want to say. Because like even though I know I have way too many subscriptions, like it is part of my channel and like part of what I do here on YouTube. Well, it's most of what I do here on YouTube. So I still need to have them. I still gotta have them even if they aren't like the best ones. I just feel like I'm kind of in like a conundrum here of like where, you know, I want to take your all's advice because a lot of you guys are like, cancel these subscriptions for the love of everything. Just make sure, please get rid of some of these subscriptions. But that's like what my channel has been based around for like 7 years. So I'm afraid if I start doing other stuff that, you know, it's not what my channel typically is. And I don't know what'll happen if I try to make like a big jump like that. Like if I just let all these subscriptions just cancel and like didn't resubscribe to any of them and just all of a sudden my channel is not a subscription box channel anymore, like I don't know. That's a lot of change. That would be very, very scary to me. You know, I've definitely been struggling on YouTube recently. My views have been very, very down, which is, it's fine. It's okay. Like that happens, things happen. But I just don't know what YouTube would even do with me if my entire channel just changed. I don't know what you guys would think. I don't know if you would want to stick around like if I didn't do subscriptions anymore, but like I'm still doing subscriptions. I'm just saying, like theoretically, if I just was like, oops, I guess I never updated my information and all the subscriptions stopped coming. That's too spooky. I can't, no. That makes me even like nervous to think about that. Let me know down below which ones you think I should go to the rescue of and actually update my information so they will charge me and send me boxes, and then which ones you think I should just let go, just release. Alright, you guys, well that probably wasn't like the most exciting update video of all time, but I felt like I needed to do just a little chit-chatting with you guys before I started filming any other videos. I have no idea if this one's gonna go up first before the unboxings that I'm about to film, but you know, I just needed to ease into it a little bit. And I hope just even like a little bit of it was somehow entertaining or interesting to you guys. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. This is the very, you know, just average makeup look. I pretty much do some variation of this makeup like every single day. Sorry, that's also not very exciting. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so very much for watching. Please go ahead and consider subscribing if you would not mind. It would mean the absolute world to me. And I just hope you guys have a lovely, wonderful, fantastic day. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye!